Yeah, it's a Monday win. It's a Monday. How are you up to, and what are you up to? John here, you there. Welcome to another go round presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. It is Soccer is in Session Playoff Day Live. And what we're going to do, we're going to roll through brackets. We're going to let you know what's going on. But first and foremost, we still have round two to get through. We still have round two. After round one, there's round two. And then after that, you get into the girls' side, which has the quarterfinals today. Boys' quarters are tomorrow. But some folks have to finish up round two before they can figure out what their next steps are going to be. And for that, we're going to go outdoors. We're going to go outdoors and see the clouds and everything. And hopefully there's no precipitation involved in participation with Tino Hernandez, the boys' head coach up at Calhoun. So look at you hanging out at the stadium.
Hey, how are you?
You tell me. You're the one who's had a game in 4 days.
Yeah, yes, sir. It's been crazy. The logistical part, the mental status of everybody that's involved in both parties here has been crazy. We had EOC testing this morning, and we just got done about 30 minutes ago. So I told him I'm going outside and I'm gonna relax a little bit, see what the field looks like, and go from there. And looking at it right now, we're playing a game today, no matter what.
All right, so go ahead and show me. Go ahead and flip the camera around and show me. How does the field look?
All right, let's see.
So how does she look after Friday?
Yeah, she's looking very good. Friday night, obviously, there was a lot of mud pits in the bottom corners outside of the playing field, and then towards the middle of the pitch, that's where we had most of the damage done. And then the top of the 18, right in a straight line on top of the 18, you can kind of see the sand still sitting there right now, but she's very comfortable, so to say. The guys like to say it's damp. They came out here this morning, did a shoot around, and they said the field is damp. It's soft. It's very comfortable for them and for their feet. And all we're waiting on now is just to retouch the paint up from the rain, and then it's game time after that.
How chaotic has it been ever since Friday when we were there and we got to see how everything started? You mentioned all of the logistical elements and things that you have to do, but having to navigate this, keep the players focused, stay locked in on the task at hand. How much of a challenge was this for you and the staff?
It was very challenging. This is the first time we've gone through it in the soccer realm of it all. But we've been real fortunate. Myself and one of my assistants and a couple of our players were on the football team this year. And first game of the football season, we went to Creekview High School. Same exact scenario that we saw Friday night. The rain delays, the lightning delays, the tight space, and the nutrition as well. So I kind of had a little hint of what we needed to do, how we needed to handle it. And after about an hour delay, we sent our guys in to go stretch and do some yoga real quick while we waited around to find out what happened. And then Saturday, we brought the boys in. This was before we even called it the second time. Saturday, we brought the boys in. We watched film for about 45 minutes, and we told them not many teams get this opportunity. Just do a timeout in soccer, watch film, break it down, and then come back out here and pick up where you left off. And we gave them yesterday off and came back in this morning for a meeting and for a shoot around.
When you look back at this season, I know that you have expectations coming into this year, and I know that you want to challenge yourself in the non-region schedule to get you ready for season two, which is region, which you hope gets you ready for season three, which is where we are now. What were the expectations going into this year before you walked everything forward?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So we knew right out the gate we were going to play a tough non-region schedule to get us ready for this new classification. To Calhoun, some of these region opponents were a different play style than what we've been used to the last 4 to 6 years. So our goal was to use the non-region to see a variety of play styles to prepare us for that. Outcome wise and hope wise for that first phase of the season was for us to find out who can contribute, how can they contribute to this team going into region. And then once we got into region, we wanted to a simple phrase: exert dominance. We wanted to let everyone know, yes, we're coming down a couple classifications, but we're here for a reason, and we're here to compete at the same time. So I have a solid relationship with everyone. Our guys know each other, and we had to remind ourselves, your friends on the field, you're competing. Even amongst yourselves, you're competing for the top 11 in our roster. So our hopes were to make it to a region championship, and I think a lot of teams were surprised. We were very surprised, but at the same time, not shocked about it. What Gilmer County did when they came in, and they really shook up the entire region. At that point, we only could control what we could, and that's going to Northwest and winning there in penalty kicks towards the end, and then knowing we still had one more game we had to win on our end, and then just sit down and wait and see what unfolded. And luckily, things went our way. And then postseason wise, well, really the third phase leading to postseason, we wanted to schedule those teams who had a resume of being deep in playoffs, like your Model, your Islands High School, and everyone along those lines, to prepare us for what was to come. And the great thing there is, if we lost, we woke up the next day knowing there was still another game after. Where in this case, tonight we're going to sleep and we're going to wake up in the morning and we're going to know either we're playing one more game in 24 hours or we start looking at the off season.
You look at your schedule, and I mean, it is massive, your non-region, because if you look at it, there's Dalton, and it's at Dalton, at Cedartown, out at Southwest. Then it's Gordon Central, Woodland. Then you get into region play. Dalton Academy has made some noise as a non-region opponent. Wesleyan's on the schedule. Norval's on the schedule. Rome, Island, Cherokee Model. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, when when did you come up with this approach? Like, yeah, give me everybody. Just line them up and we'll go.
Well, this is year 4 here at Calhoun, and that my first year I got into coaching soccer was in 2017, 2018 at Northwest Whitfield. And the schedule there was a little similar to what we're looking at right now. But once I got here to Calhoun, I understood what the motto was, and it's tradition of excellence. So in order for us to follow that, even in the soccer program, we knew we needed the tough times. We need to learn through adversity. We need to learn through the challenges that come. And again, I have such a great relationship with everyone that's on our schedules that I wanted to play them, whether it was a JV, a freshman, or a varsity schedule. And we told our guys, look, we're going to play the best of the best because we want to be in that conversation as one of them. And in order to get there, we've got to compete. And from that moment on, we said, all right, let's schedule on the road tough games and let's schedule at home tough games and let's see what the result looks like for us.
How do you keep high school student athletes from getting locked into, if you come out of the blocks and you lose 3 immediately and there isn't a whole lot of offense that's there, but you want them to focus on the bigger picture, you want them to focus on that's part of the learning process this year, don't get wrapped up in it. How do you keep them from looking at wins and losses as wins and losses and instead look at them as wins and learning opportunities?
Mm-hmm. So we really break it down to a personal state with that. But in the years past, we did a player of the match, we did player of the week, we did all these individual recognitions, and so what we started doing the next day, no matter if it was a win or a loss, we sat down and we said, all right, guys, put the record aside, put the score aside, let's break down and let everybody look at 2 positives we did and give us 3 negative things we did. Then what we would do is compare that to the next week and we'd see what's still overlapping and what's not. And that really got the guys starting to see, hey, look, there's actual growth here. Whether we're losing 6-0 and we took 10 shots or we lose 2-1 and we took 20 shots. They find the growth in we're shooting more. They find the growth in we're stopping teams from crossing midfield a whole lot more than what we started at. And at the same time, personnel wise, the guys see if we are losing, maybe we do a personnel change the next time to see if that's the case. And now you're talking 23 kids got to play in the matter of 2 matches because we're experimenting a little more with that.
13 different goal scorers this year. Obviously, I know that gravitate toward Alex Delgado. But what's it like to get all the different contributors to help out with the success this season with the 10 wins that you've got?
It's been huge. All those guys that have contributed, whether it's a goal or an assist, we know that we can put them in a certain scenario in the game if we need something. For example, 3 of those guys that have scored a single goal, we know that they're better crossers than they are at attacking a 1v1 situation. And if we're against a team that we can really exploit that counter to the switch or anything along those lines, we're going to put those guys in. And your Alex Delgado or your next guy that's second to him understand, all right, this isn't my moment at this exact time, but this is the team's moment to exploit our strength with that. So the guys have really bought into let's cheer each other on and let's continue to work. For example, the first round of playoffs, we brought up a JV guy to add to our roster. He goes in and not 10 seconds in, he scores on a goal off of a corner kick. And just to see the excitement of the program do that helps us understand that we're not a selfish team, and we can't be selfish individuals looking at the stat record.
When you need advice, who's on your speed dial? Is it Coach Lamb? Is it Clay Stevenson, the boys' head football coach and the athletic director? Who's on your speed dial when you need to have some?
It's truly everybody here. Coach Stevenson is the first one. You know, he gave me the opportunity to come here and join the football staff at the same time of taking over the soccer program. And he's kept me under his wing, shown me the logistics, shown me the mental process of the day-to-day practice schedule, why we should practice certain ways, and how should we approach the kids. But at the same time, if you look at the athletic staff here at Calhoun, you've got your guys who are vetted in 1 or 2 years away from retirement, and you've got your guys who just started their career. Um, so the young energy levels keep me, I'm only in my 30s at year 7, but the young energy underneath of me keeps me motivated and attached to the relationship state with the boys. And then the veterans who have been here have taught me about the adversity and taught me about tradition and how to really look at things from a different perspective after you're so pumped about winning and getting a trophy and everything like that. You got to remember that there's more to it.
What's it been like for you to see the sport grow the way that it has there up in Calhoun and in Northwest Georgia with the time that you spent on other campuses? What's it been like for you to see the sport grow the way that it has?
It's tremendous to see. Going from Whitfield County to here, they've got the title of Soccer Town USA, and looking at it from an outsider perspective, you know why, and it's because of the young development, the young ages that the kids are being involved, and it's what's coming. Atlanta United just recently put that mini pitch there, and that's drawing a lot of attention. And then you come down to Gordon County and Bartow, and we're striving to get there. And we're just so many little pieces away from doing that. But the biggest thing is we've got a big clientele of kids coming from out of the country, and they need something to do. And we've actually explored looking like at field day type deals, putting all these kids through all these sports and let's see which one we draw an interest of them, and they always come out to soccer. They're always trying to kick a ball, kick a bottle, anything that they can possibly do. So what we decided is we're going to take an unorthodox approach here at Calhoun. We're going to continue to mold from the rec department and hit to our middle school, but we're going to increase our middle school numbers the same time as high school. So this year we took on a big role of bringing in 50 kids at the high school level, and 16 of those were freshmen, and then 16 of those were seniors this year. And then you look at the middle gap, that's kids that have been here for 2 years, 7 years, or kids that just arrived in Georgia 2 months ago. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to just give them an opportunity, kind of like that of your academies and your club teams and everything. We're trying to show the kids, hey, look, there's something here for you. let it be a motivation to your attendance at school. Let it be a motivation to your behavior. And if you look at our coaching staff, that's kind of what we put in our coaching staff here. People who look at the important things before putting the ball at your feet. Here doesn't involve soccer. It involves the mental state. It involves the physical toughness, and then we reward him with the soccer ball after that.
Tino Hernandez, another couple of minutes with him as he gets ready for his round completion of the match this afternoon against Johnson Gainesville. And I think that when you look at what you're doing there at Calhoun and what Frank Zamora, the head coach at Johnson Gainesville, is doing there, it's turning programs that may not necessarily have been the primary draw for eyeballs. You're turning it into something that folks can sit there and go, there really is something developing here. And obviously, I know that Frank's had a bit of a head start by growing his program where you are, but there's those same growth curves and those same growth ideas that we're seeing with you and what you want to do there at Calhoun with what you're seeing with Frank.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's correct. When we first saw that we had them this year in the bracket, him and I reached out to each other, and when they arrived Friday, we said it's good to finally put a face with the names. We've exchanged so many conversations about opponents and then just about scheduling and everything over these past 4 years. And then I talked to our community here. They say, well, what's Johnson about? We don't know where they're at. We don't know where they're coming from or anything like that. And we give them their resume. Frank's done a phenomenal job there. And first thing I told our guys is, this is a program that you respect, and this is a program that you want to learn from, no matter what the end result is, because we're striving to be, again, one of those top teams here, and they're up on that list. So we're going to learn a lot from their coaching staff, and we're going to learn a lot from their players and how they approach the game, both on and off the field.
All right, two more questions for you. When I'm doing Football Fridays in the fall over at Georgia Public, Hannah Gooden, Matt Stewart, and I, we have the Make That Kid an Offer feature where we want to focus on those student athletes, and it could be a freshman, it could be a senior, that for whatever reason they're not getting the looks that you feel they deserve, or they're not getting looks at all, and should be getting looks because of what they're doing on the field and off. Who on your roster fits that Make That Kid an Offer category for you here in 2025?
I would think it'd be one of our junior midfielders, Owen Vicente. Owen has he's growing mentally, he's growing personally as he continues to adapt and get there. But he is a rotational guy for us this year, and when he comes in, he provides a spark of speed, a spark of IQ-ness, and he's real calm and composed with the ball, where he's going to do something for you. 2 times this year, he's came off the bench, whether it's the first half or the second half, and either assisted a goal or scored a goal on his own. And so he has the capability of doing that. And he's actually going to, right now he's competing for the starting job as the football kicker of Calhoun next year, now that our senior midfielder, Carlos Lopez, is graduating this year.
Now, my last question for you, as always. How are folks getting to 315 South River, and when do they need to get there for you today?
They need to get here at 3:31. Kids are being dismissed at 3:30, and then both teams are arriving. Well, they're arriving around 3:30. My guys are getting out here at 2:30. So 3:31, and we're gonna have some food vendors out here to give them a midday snack as well.
Awesome. Can't wait to keep an eye on what's going on up there. Great matchup with two great football programs and two great football towns. Calhoun, Johnson Gainesville wrapping up round number 2, because it could be 3 games in a week, but you got to get through the first 52 minutes today. Coach, thanks for coming by and breaking down the last 4 days, and it was great to see you the other day. And we'll be keeping an eye on you and what's going on up there at Calhoun. Don't be a stranger.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys very much.
All right, there goes Tino Hernandez, the boys head coach at Calhoun, and they are getting ready for their matchup see everybody and break it all down for you. So, we wanted to catch up with Coach Hernandez because of everything that has been going on over the last 4 days. And they're not the only matchup that is stuck in round two because, and I have my brackets here, and so this is where we get into the brackets and all of the discussions of everything. Coach mentioned Gilmer. Gilmer, we've been up there and we've been able to see what that program has been all about. Gilmer knocking off Whitewater. Gilmer right now ranked number 10. They are traveling to Northwest Whitfield to take on Northwest Whitfield or Jenkins, the winner of that one. So Gilmer has advanced. They knocked off Whitewater in the last round. And so on the quick turn, they're waiting to figure out what's going on. Jenkins would be hosting if they win. Either way, Gilmer is traveling as team number 16. They're ranked number 10. They're either going to Jenkins or they're going to Northwest Whitfield. We'll see if we can catch up with our friends from Gilmer tomorrow before they get their travel plans. We are going to be catching up with Jackson High tomorrow on the boys' side, and I believe we're catching up with Pike County as well. So we'll find out what's going on with Jackson and Pike tomorrow. We'll see if we can catch up with our friends from Gilmer because of the quick turnaround of round number 2. Gilmer's been waiting. They got their matchup in before the weekend started. But once again, Jenkins, Northwest Whitfield. Jenkins having to travel from Jenkins all the way up to Tunnel Hill to take on Northwest Whitfield. That one's slated for 4 o'clock. I would imagine that Jenkins is probably here in the Atlanta area trying to work their way north and get to Tunnel Hill in time just to kind of get off the bus and decompress a little bit. But you're waiting on that one. So it's Jenkins and Northwest Whitfield in Northwest Georgia, 4 o'clock. Calhoun and Johnson Gainesville set for 4:30. And the Ringgold match, as I sit here and I'm looking at the wrong brackets, the Shaw and Ringgold match is set for 6, I believe. So follow along as you go. But AAA and AA are not done. AAA and AA still not done. I'm sitting here. I'm just trying to make sure that those are the only ones that are not done. And I think that's correct. So it's those 3 that are still stuck in round number 2. And I think that's right. So it is just those 3. Shaw and Ringgold at Ringgold, 6 o'clock. And then the 2 matchups in Northwest Georgia in AAA. Jenkins traveling to Northwest Whitfield at 4. Johnson Gainesville traveling to Calhoun to wrap up at 4:30. Remember, and you can go back and actually listen to the first 27 minutes of the match, plus what we were trying to do to Phil when we were up there at South River Street up in Calhoun on Friday. They started the match early. Started the match about 15 minutes early. It was supposed to be at 7. Started at about 6:45 because they were trying to get the weather. They're trying to beat the weather. They beat the weather for almost a half an hour. And so then at 27 and change, it was stopped, frozen in time. And so if you're anywhere near Calhoun or if you're a Johnson Gainesville fan traveling over, be there at, well, as Coach says, I think the gate's opening at 3:31. So everybody needs to be there at 3:31 to go, and it's there at the corner of the campus itself. So if you go to Calhoun High School and you cut in front of the middle school and the high school itself, don't go behind because that's the football stadium, that's the Reeve, and that's where the American football team plays at Phil Reeve. So along the front of the stadium, you'll see the middle school, you'll see the high school, you'll see the soccer field. It's that one. That soccer field at the corner is where it is if you're going. So once again, if you're going to Calhoun or if you're going to the match, don't go behind the school to the football stadium American style. It's the one that's in the front right there at the corner of the intersection at the stoplight. So basically what you get to do is you work your way around back into the school parking lot, or there should be hopefully spaces out in front. But anyway, it is at the front corner of the property where the high school football, where the FUTBOL, where that is when it comes to this matchup. So Johnson Gainesville probably on their way now, and Calhoun with the gates opening according to Coach Hernandez at 3:30. So that's going to be fun. And so one of 3 matches that still has to figure itself out and to figure out you're going to play 3 matches in a week to try to get to a final, and it's going to start today. So it could be one of those 3 sides, and we'll figure out what it's going to look like tomorrow, and we'll continue to find out what it's going to look like this week. Reminder on our air, Brookwood and Buford, 1 versus 2 on the girls' side in 6A. That's going to be on the network a little before 6 o'clock. So pregame at 5:45 from Buford High School. Soccerdownhere.mixler.com. And also, it is going to be on the Mixler app. You can go to soccerdownhere.net and listen to it that way. And what you can do there is you go to soccerdownhere.net. We have a listen tab. And let me see if I can. And I did this morning on the morning show. So let me see if I can do a screen share and I can show you what the process is. So I'm going to check and see what's there now. Okay. So it does work. All right. So let me back out and I'll show you what it looks like. So here is obviously the website for us at SDH. And so now that I figured out about screen sharing, I'm never going to let this go. So here is our website. And so you see up at the top, you can watch us on the morning show. You can watch what's going on right now. You can go to our YouTube channel. You can see this live on our YouTube channel. But when we have matches up and running, go to the listen tab. When something is live, you'll see a siren. You'll see like a little siren going off on the corner. You hit the listen tab, and then what it does is it lets you go to our channels on Mixler. And so you can choose if a match is on SDH, you see that they're both listed as being off air, or SDH2. So you can click on whichever network has a matchup going, but traditionally there is a way to know which network is up and running. There's a siren going on. You hit the listen tab, and you can figure out if it's going to be SDH1 or 2. The matchup will be going live, and then at the same time, you can catch up with our old episodes with podcasting on Spreaker, and you can stay connected and all these kinds of things. So this is me trying to figure out screen share for the first time ever, and I started doing it today. But anyway, SDH Network, go to soccerdownhere.net, and you can go Soccer Down Here, SDH2, and you can go and figure out what it's going to look like there, and you get to listen was a separate tab. Okay, so that's what happened. Never mind. Okay, so go to listen, and you'll click on it. It opens up a separate window, and then what you end up doing is you go to the listen tab, and it gets the opportunity to sit there and go, oh, hey, you know what? This is what we're doing when it comes to all of those particular things. And so there's your listen tab, and that's all the fun stuff when it comes to what you're staring at when it comes to, I hope I did that right. Anyway, I hope I did that right. So once again, screen sharing, you can go to SDH, soccerdownhere.net, hit the listen tab. Both the networks pop up. You can listen to all of our old podcasts that are there as well. But yeah, listen tab, it's either on SDH 1 or 2. Brookwood and Buford, 5:45 pregame, 6 o'clock kick. Drew Dickinson and I will be up at Buford, and it's on Buford High School's grounds. It is not up at Tom Ryden and up at the practice fields up the hill. So for anybody who wants to come and see Brookwood and Buford, it's on the the Buford campus. You're going north on Buford Highway, you're turning right. You're going to Buford High School. You are not going up the hill to the old football stadium, and they're building the new football stadium across the street from the new high school. I say new, it's a couple years old, but anyway. And then that turns into middle school and practice fields and all that kind of stuff. But Brookwood and Buford tonight, number 1 versus number 2. It is low in your brackets in 6A girls right here, right there. That's your bracket in 6A girls. And that's where we are tonight. Brookwood and Buford, that is tonight. Number 1 at number 2, low right in 6A. Tomorrow we will be in Dalton. We know that much. Tomorrow we'll be in Dalton for St. Pius, traveling to Dalton. That is Quad A boys low right. So once again, tomorrow we're here. Tomorrow we're at St. Pius in Dalton. We'll have that one for you. I believe it's a 6 o'clock start. And so then you'll get to have number 1 versus number 2 on the girls' side today in 6A. And then tomorrow it is number 3 at number 1 on the boys' side in Quad A. We don't know where we're going to be Wednesday. And obviously we won't know Thursday and Friday until we have winners on Thursday and Friday. We do have some tracks that we are following, and we'll figure out Friday on the notion of, once again, it'll probably be me and Maddie, and it will be at a location that will be determined from what happens tomorrow. So Monday is quarterfinals for the girls. Tomorrow, quarterfinals for the boys. Rest day on Wednesday. Thursday, quarterfinals for the girls. Friday, quarterfinals for the semifinals for the girls. Semifinals for the boys. So that's the grid. That's where it's looking about us. But today, Brookwood and Buford, 5:45 pregame, 6 o'clock kick. Tomorrow, St. Pius in Dalton. I think this will be our 4th trip to Dalton this year. And it is that particular matchup, number 3 at number 1 tomorrow, number 1 at number 2 today. We'll have those on the network, soccerdownhere.mixler.com. And then it is going to be on the Mixler app and at soccerdownhere.net. Remember the screen saving thing with the Mixler tab, and that's where it all is laid out. So now let's run through the grid, and we'll go through the start times and everything for all of the classifications and for everything, how it looks. And I'm trying to organize it into something akin to an looking from one side to the other. So Class A D, we'll go from Class A D1 and D2, and we will go all the way up to 6A and private in that order. So I think I've got everything organized, and we'll go over times and rankings here coming up in just a bit. So here's your breakdown for everything today. Once again, here's your brackets. Fill them out in pen. And you can follow along, obviously, on the NFHS network and with us when we go to our particular joints. All right, so Class A D1 girls. Lamar County, after beating Jeff Davis 3-2, they travel to Bremen. Bremen shut out Elbert County, and so it is Lamar, number 10, at number 1, Bremen. We'll try and track down Jason Fields and see what we can find out what's going on up there at Bremen. Low left, Dade County, team number 5, travels to team number 4, Social Circle. And that is because Dade went to Sylvester and beat Worth 2-1. Social Circle went to Dodge, or Social Circle hosted Dodge, won that one 7-1. So Dade travels from Trenton to Social Circle. That's the left-hand side of the bracket. Lamar at Bremen, Dade at Social Circle. Right-hand side, Model travels to Thomasville. Model ranked number 2, but team 6 shut out Swainsboro. Thomasville shut out Toombs 2-0. Great season for Jeremy Allen on the girls' side. And so Model travels to Thomasville. So number 2 at number 4 in the rankings. Number 6 travels to number 3, upper right, in Class A D1 girls. Low right, East Lawrence, ranked number 7, shut out Armurchie. Ace Charter shut out Fitzgerald. So East Lawrence, team 7, travels to team 2. Ace Charter, ranked number 3. They are team number 2. And that is your rundown for Class A Division 2 or Division 1 girls. Class A Division 2, Elite Scholars Academy probably left already to go to Irwin County. ESA shut out Hawkinsville 1-0. Irwin County, ranked number 7, beat Bryan County 3-0. So ESA travels to Irwin County. That one's going to be played at Buddy Noble's. ACA Atlanta Classical shut out Crawford County. They traveled to number 2 ranked Screven County, your Area 3 leader, Area 3 team number 1. So the Gamecocks at Screven County, they are the ones that get to host ACA on the left-hand side of the bracket. Right-hand side of the bracket, Portal shut out Dooley. Lake Oconee Academy shut out Mount Zion Carroll. So Portal travels to LOA. Number 6 travels to number 3 in the rankings. But LOA is a team number 1, so Portal travels to LOA. Low right, it is Claxton after knocking off GMC, ranked number 9. So Claxton, the number 3 team out of Area 3, travels to number 1, Tryon. Tryon shut out Greene County. So Claxton at Tryon. That wraps up AD2. Double A, Pike County, we wanted to catch up with them today, but obviously since they're on a game day, Coach was sick this weekend. And so I think he's out striping the field right now as we speak. So if you're driving by, if you're heading in and around Zebulon and you see someone striping the soccer pitch, that's the head coach back behind the school. So Sonoraville shuts out East Jackson. So number 8 goes to number 9 in the rankings. And as Team 9 goes to take on Team 8. That's interesting that Team 9 is ranked number 8 and Team 8 is ranked number 9. But Sonoraville goes on the road to East Jackson. They got the win 1-0. They travel to Zebulon today and take on Pike County. Pike County beat Stevens 8-2. Low left, Cahola Creek. We saw them earlier this year. We had their matchup against Fort Payne on the network, and ranked number 5, Team 5, beat Shaw 4-2. Drew Charter, Team 4, is going to host. Ranked number 10, Cahola Creek, they are traveling to Drew Charter. Pierce County shut out Thompson, and Savannah Arts shut out Therrell. So Pierce County, as Team 11, travels to 6th ranked Team number 3, Savannah Arts. And Morgan County, our friend Aaron Paul, at number 4 in the rankings, number 7 in the overall, shut out Murray County. And Columbus shut out Callaway and Mike Petit and the Cavs. And so Morgan County now travels to Columbus today. They're probably already in the van and headed in that direction. That is AA girls as we go. AAA girls. Dawson County, Team 8, travels to number 1 Jefferson. Everything on the left-hand side of the bracket goes through Jefferson. Bottom line. Everything through Jefferson. Girls side, Gilmer, no problems with Bainbridge. They went down to Bainbridge and won that one handily. They'll now travel to Cherokee Bluff, who's ranked number 3. Cherokee Bluff shut out Northwest Whitfield, who was ranked number 8 by the score of 3-0 on the road. So Dawson County at Jefferson, Gilmer County at Cherokee Bluff. Right-hand side, Adairsville travels to Whitewater. Adairsville shut out Luella. Whitewater beat Heritage Catoosa, identical 6-0 scores. So Adairsville, ranked number 7, travels to number 2. Team 11 travels to see team number 3. Oconee County and our friend Judson Hamby shut out Harlem at Harlem. So Oconee County, ranked number 5, went to Harlem, who was team number 2 in the power rankings. And so now Oconee County at number 5 travels to Sandy Creek, who's ranked number 4. Sandy Creek shut out Long County beat Long County by the final of 6-2. So in AAA girls, Dawson County at Jefferson, Gilmer at Cherokee Bluff, Adairsville at Whitewater, and Oconee County is at Sandy Creek. Quad A, which is what follows after 3. Walnut Grove continues their big run. The second seeded team out of Region 8 had to go on the quick turn. They shut out Druid Hills, and then they now go to Cambridge. Cambridge, 5-1 winner at Midtown. So Cambridge now, as number 2 team out of Region 6, they're going to host, because once again, the coin flip, you'll remember, the lower positioned in the bracket is the one that wins the tiebreaker. So Walnut Grove, Region 8's Team 2, travels to Cambridge, who's ranked number 4, Region 6 Team 2. And so Walnut Grove at Cambridge, upper left in Quad A. Marist travels to Stars Mill. Marist shuts out Eastside. Stars Mill shuts out Westminster. So number 2 travels to number 9. Marist to Stars Mill because they were the region champ out of Region 3. St. Pius travels to Blessed Trinity. St. Pius shut out for East Forsyth. And so you end up with St. Pius traveling to Blessed Trinity, and Blessed Trinity, same margin, shutting out Harris County. So St. Pius stopped the Cinderella run of East Forsyth, who was the number 4 seed out of Region 8. And so St. Pius travels to BT number 6 at number 1. North Oconee beat Northview 2-0, and they get to host as the number 3 ranked team and the region champ out of Region 8. Allatoona had to go to PKs to beat Pace, as number 5 was hosting number 7. So it is number 5 Allatoona at number 3 North Oconee. And your Quad A, once again, Walnut Grove at Cambridge, Marist at Stars Mill, Pius at Blessed Trinity, Allatoona is at North Oconee. 5A, last week we had Coach Husted on from Greenbrier and Coach Galvin on from Lassiter. And so it is your region champ out of Region 1, Greenbrier, hosting Lassiter, who's ranked number 3 after Lassiter's win over Chamblee. Greenbrier shutting out Jackson County. Everything has been done for Greenbrier at home. They've had a long run at home. It's going to be a long road trip for Robbie and for the Lassiter Trojans today. My guess is they're definitely already on the bus. They might even be out I-20. Loganville, after their 1-0 win at Villa Rica, goes to Northgate. So Loganville, as your 3 seed out of Region 8, travels to number 6 Northgate. Northgate shut out River Ridge by the score of 3-0. Alexander beat Houston County in Middle Georgia 4-1. They travel to Pope. Pope won over McIntosh. It was scoreless after 100 minutes. They go to PKs. Pope won at 4-2 in PKs. So Alexander, ranked number 9, goes to number 2 Pope. And Roswell travels to Habersham Central. Habersham Central, they got a very busy week. Both the boys and girls, the playing of today and tomorrow. So Roswell and Habersham Central. So Roswell shut out Lakeside DeKalb. Habersham Central beats Kennesaw Mountain 5-2. So Roswell, ranked number 1, travels to number 8, Habersham Central, and that is 5A. 6A, Mill Creek shut out Richmond Hill on the coast, and so they will travel to Lambert. Lambert shut out South Gwinnett 4-0. So Mill Creek travels to number 6, Lambert. Walton is going to Harrison. So Walton shut out, had no problems with Mountain View, and then Harrison shut out North Gwinnett. So Walton travels to Harrison, and so Harrison ranked number 4, and Walton ranked number 5. That is low left in your bracket in 6A. North Paulding, the 2 seed out of Region 5, beat East Coweta. They travel to West Forsyth. West Forsyth ranked number 3 in the rankings. Region 6 is champ and ranked top 5 nationally. So it's going to be a tall order for North Paulding as they travel to West Forsyth. And then Brookwood and Buford on our air once again. Remember, Brookwood number 1, Buford number 2. Buford shut out Cherokee. Brookwood struggled with Campbell. Campbell made it difficult for them, winning only 1-0. So Brookwood travels to Buford, 5:45 pregame, 6 o'clock kick from Buford High School. Then your private bracket, Holy Innocents, and everything's going through Hebron Christian on the left-hand side. As long as Hebron Christian continues to be the team number 1, everything's going on the left-hand side through Hebron Christian into Decula. Holy Innocent shut out St. Vincent's. So number 5, Holy Innocents, goes to see number, did I have that right? Number 7, Hebron Christian, who is team number 1, though, in the power rankings. So Hebron Christian, remember, on our air, beat Mount Vernon by the score of 2-1. And so Holy Innocents goes to Hebron Christian. Lovett goes to top-ranked Wesleyan. Wesleyan wins over Paideia. Lovett shuts out Fellowship Christian. So Lovett travels to Wesleyan, number 3 at number 1. That's the left-hand side. Then GAC hosts Calvary Day. So it's number 2 hosting number 10. It was Calvary Day 4-1 winners over Atlanta International, and GAC shuts out Darlington 4-0. So that gets us there. Then on the low right side of the bracket, Whitfield Academy to Savannah Country Day. And then Whitfield Academy shut out Athens Academy 2-0. So Whitfield, as team 10, ranked number 8, goes to see Savannah Country Day, ranked number 4, who shut out the Walker School by the score of 9-0. And so Savannah Country Day is hosting Whitfield. So once again, private, Holy Innocents to Hebron Christian, Lovett to Wesleyan, Calvary Day to GAC, and Whitfield Academy to Savannah Country Day. Now let's take a look at the start times and get you ready, because once again, you have the 3 boys matches today. 1 at 4, 1 at 4:30, and 1 at 6. Sean Ringgold is at 6 o'clock on the Ringgold campus. So going to AA and AAA. Once again, Sean Ringgold, 6 o'clock. Calhoun and Johnson Gainesville at 4:30. Jenkins and Northwest Whitfield in Tunnel Hill. That one is at 4. So 4 in Tunnel Hill, 4:30 in Calhoun, and Johnson and Sean Ringgold is set for 6 o'clock. Now, the start times for the action going on today across the board, we'll give them all to you. I love allergies. I know, and I apologize for coughing in your ear as much as I have, but yes, it's going to get looked at. All right, so the soccer going on the girls' side here in the state of Georgia. So we'll get into the scores, and we'll get the 32 matchups. Once again, we talked about Johnson and Calhoun. That's on campus at 4:30. Mariston Stars Mill is set for 5. Lassiter and Greenbrier is set for 5:30 in Augusta area, as well as Dade County and Social Circle. Sonoraville and 18-2 Pike County. 6 o'clock, Lovett and Wesleyan. By the way, Wesleyan 17-1. Lovett is 15-3-1. Morgan County at Columbus. Columbus on the season at 16-1. Morgan County at 13-5, slated for 6 o'clock. Alatoona, North Oconee, 18-1 at 15-3. Alexander and Pope, 16-4 and 17-3. Dawson County at Jefferson, 14-4 and 16-3. Undefeated Roswell at 18-0 travels to Mount Airy. Habersham Central's 15-2. Adairsville and Whitewater both at 15-3. Gilmer 12-5 travels to 13-6 Cherokee Bluff. Oconee County at 14-6 takes on Sandy Creek at 17-1. Those are all your 6 o'clock starts. St. Pius and BT is at 6:30, 13-7 and 16-1. And once again, we mentioned Buford and Brookwood. That one is 19-0 and 18-0 That is 37 wins without a loss. That is 5:45 kick on our end, and it is a 6 o'clock kick for the actual action. Hebron Christian Holy Innocent 16-0 goes up against 16-3. Harrison 19-2 takes on 17-2. Walton River Ridge at 9-9 taking on Villarica at 14-3. And then you have Elite Scholars at 10-2 traveling down to Osceola to take on Irwin County at 16-1. Sonorville comes into their matchup with a record of 14-3. Calvary Day 13-1 going up against Greater Atlanta Christian. Bremen and Lamar. Bremen at 16-3. Lamar at 13-6. North Paulding at 13-5. West Forsyth at 18-1. Whitfield Academy at 12-4. Savannah Country Day at 16-3. Lovett at 15-3-1 going up against Wesley. And Mill Creek 11-3 taking on 16-2. Lambert. Cambridge at 15-4 taking on Walnut Grove 14-6. Thomasville's at 17-2 going to 14-1 model. So that's your rundown of everything that has gone on. Once again, you remember you have the 3 boys matches in addition to the girls matches as well. So all of this activity that we have, you can go back and listen to all of our old shows, all the matches that are up there in their archived state. But Brookwood and Buford, 19-0 and 18-0. And it is really cool to see the programs. Once again, we caught up with Brookwood earlier this year, going up against Parkview in the Battle of Five Forks Trickham there at the Dave Hunter Athletic Complex. This will be our first look at Buford this year. And just to give you a bit of intel on what's going on with Buford specifically, you have a lot of players and a lot of firepower that's available for you. And when you look at what Buford has been able to accomplish, Izzy Skinner committed to Troy, and Sophia Martelli is committed to Alabama. Emmy Henderson to UNC Asheville. Nat DeBella Brevard, Chandler Perry committed to Barry. Kaylin Brown is going to West Georgia, and Emmy Henderson is one of the scholar athletes. Ava Rodriguez, by the way, on the El Salvadoran national team this season. So you have all of that going up against what you're seeing with Brookwood and what we've seen with that roster as well. So it's going to be a lot of talent on display coming up at 5:45. So in a little less than 5 hours from now, it's going to be that kind of activity here on the SDH network at soccerdownhere.mixler.com and also on the Mixler app and at soccerdownhere.net. So it's going to be a fun afternoon for us as number 1 takes on number 2, low right in your bracket when it comes to 6A. And so this one's going to have a high pedigree. Tomorrow, remember, St. Pius and Dalton will be up there for that matchup at Chapel Harmon. And that one will be fun, number 3 versus number 1, where this is number 1 versus number 2 today. Well, like I said, when we know what it's going to look like down the line for our matches on Thursday and Friday, we'll let you know. Tomorrow in session, should be catching up with Coach Guillory at Jackson, hopefully catching up with Pike County as well. We'll let you know what happened there and try and catch up with a couple of different folks and get you ready for everything going on the boys' side, which is tomorrow, and you've got some really interesting matchups there. And you have number 1 Grayson waiting for Decula. Brookwood, Pebblebrook at number 8. They are waiting for Mill Creek. Campbell hosting Discovery. Discovery has made it through as a 4 seed in 6A. So that's a big run for them, and Duluth heading to Collins Hill. Obviously, we'll go into this more in depth tomorrow. Double A, Jackson once again waiting for the winner of Shawn Ringgold. Cahulla Creek waiting for the Cahulla Creek is heading to Columbus. Murray County is heading to Drew Charter. And it is Crisp heading to Tatnall. I think that one's a 6:30 start. Tatnall is very, very active on social media. So Crisp at number 10 travels to Reedsville to take on Tatnall County. AAA Gilmer waiting for the winner of Jenkins and Northwest Whitfield. Gilmer's going someplace. Jefferson traveling to Islands, and Tyler Pineda's group probably is leaving after breakfast tomorrow. Mary Persons, number 7, travels to number 2, Oconee County. Calhoun and Johnson Gainesville's winner goes to Chestatee. Chestatee is ranked 18. So you could have either way. Chestatee is traveling to the winner of Calhoun and Johnson Gainesville. Calhoun, number 7, Johnson Gainesville, number 10. They're ranked number 4. Chestatee, as team 18, has had 2 wins going to ARC and knocking off the Musketeers, who ranked number 5, team 2, to get to this point. So Chestatee's had a good postseason run as a team 18. They're traveling to the winner of the matchup that we got to catch up with Coach Hernandez about earlier in the show. AD1, Rabin travels to number 1 Model. Toombs County is traveling to Armurchie tomorrow at number 4. Thomasville is traveling to Jeff Davis. This probably means that we're going to have Brian Lawson on the show tomorrow. Dalton Academy, ranked team 23, and they are traveling to Fannin County, so it's a home game in Blue Ridge in AD1. Paideia travels to Wesleyan. It is Mount Vernon traveling to AIS, who's ranked number 4. Whitfield traveling to Providence Christian, who is ranked number 3. And so it's number 6 at number 3. Savannah Country Day at number 5, traveling to number 2, Hebron Christian. That's your private boys. Atkinson County is waiting for ACA, so it's number 10 and number 2 in Pearson. Towns County at number 4, traveling to number 6, Metter. LOA is going to be hosting Dooley County. Dooley County, number 5. LOA at number 3. GMC, with their 1-0 win over Brooks, has to travel to Tryon because of the tiebreaker in the coin flip. So GMC travels to number 7, Tryon, in AD2. 5A boys, Clark Central travels to Sprayberry, so it is number 6 at number 3. Johns Creek goes to Rome, number 4 at number 9. River Ridge to Veterans in Middle Georgia in Kathleen. So River Ridge ranked number 1. Region champ out of Region 6 travels to Veterans. Milton travels to Hab Central. We talked about how busy the day is going to be for Hab Central the next couple of days. Hab Central shut out Lakeside Evans. Milton shut out Decatur. So Milton, number 7, travels to Hab Central. And in Quad A, and I'm sorry it was out of order. It was just the order that they were in. Druid Hills and their big run with Coach Bodnar, they get to travel to Blessed Trinity. So it is number 9 at number 7. Then Marist hosting Centennial. Centennial knocking off Stars Mill in PKs. Marist is ranked number 2, so this one's at Stadler Field. East Forsyth as a 4 seed, once again knocking off Clarkston, travels to Westminster at number 5, and then Dalton once again in Pius, number 3, taking on number 1. That is tomorrow on our air. Drew Dickinson and I will have the call. We'll have everything started up at 5:45 for you with the pregame show. We'll lay it all out for you and let you know what's going on here when it comes to soccer is in session live. We'll have coaches on tomorrow. We'll find out what happened with the 3 boys matches because those get turned over to play tomorrow. Find out what happened with all the girls quarterfinals today. We'll talk about that tomorrow as well. We'll have scores for you in game as Drew has the call for you from Buford High School. I'll be there to let you know who's winning and who's doing what. We'll find out as we all fill out our brackets who's going to be advancing on the girls' side and out of round 2 on the boys' side. So that's another go-around of Soccer's in Session Live, presented by Kaiser Permanente. As always, thanks to Coach Hernandez, who took his lunch break and got to hang out with us, getting ready for a 4:30 matchup against Johnson Gainesville. And as always, thanks to all the coaches, all the teams that help make Soccer's in Session what it is during the regular season and daily, which I know is a fantastic demand on a lot of coaches, especially this time of year, because they want to kind of focus on matches themselves and playoffs. But thanks to all the coaches, all the schools, all the ADs, everybody that's been a help to us in having us call matches in person. And also thanks to the GHSA for being a great partner with us as well, so we can call all of the matches for you on the SDH network. So once again, 5:45 pregame, 6 o'clock kick, number 1 versus number 2, Brookwood at Buford. Low right in your brackets in 6A girls. We'll talk about it all night. We'll talk about it again tomorrow here at noon. Soccer is in Session, Playoff Daily Live, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. Mucha Platiel, play it safe. That's the end of the show. Since that is the end of the show, that means I get to do this. See you at 5:45.